From America's farm to fork capital and some of the richest farmland in the world, it's time for What's in Season with Michael Marks.
Well, welcome to What's in Season with Michael Marks. We are going to have a ton of fun today. You know, it's going to be summertime this month, so what do we talk about in the summertime? Yes, watermelons. I'm going to teach you how to pick out the best watermelon on the face of the planet, so we're going to have a ton of fun with that. We're going to have Dr. Chelsea Azarkan is going to be with us today talking about what should we be eating in the summertime? What do our bodies need in the summertime? Ag in the Classroom is here with us today. A fun experiment on watermelons. And of course, Chef Adam Peckel is going to be here with, we're going to do a salad. Not just any salad, we're going to supersize that salad. Well, let's go ahead and get started. How do you pick out the best watermelon on the face of the planet? You know, all fruits and vegetables, from apples to zucchini, they will tell you whether they are good or not. You just have to know what in the world you need to look for on that fruit or vegetable. So this watermelon, I'm going to show you about 5 or 6 things on this watermelon that tells me this is probably going to be a really good watermelon. The very first thing you're going to do when you walk up to a big display of watermelons, you're going to make sure they're symmetrical in shape. That's right, even from side to side, symmetrical in shape. That means the bees did their job properly. That's right. You have to have bees to pollinate watermelon because the pollen on a watermelon blossom is very thick and the wind can't even blow it around. So you have to have bees. So when you're driving down Highway 99 or I-5 and you look out those fields to the right or to the left of the freeway and you see those vines out there and say, what are those vines? And then about every 5 to 6 rows you see about 8 white boxes. Well, now you know what those vines are. Those are a watermelon field being pollinated by those bees. So the bees flutter around. Now bees have the best labor union on the face of the planet. I don't know if you know this, but bees have the best labor union because in their little tiny bee contract it says if it's too hot outside, they don't have to go to work. They stay in the hive, keeping queen bee nice and cool, fluttering around, keeping queen. If it's too cold outside, guess where the bees are? That's right, they're inside, keeping queen bee warm. If it's windy outside, where are the bees? The bees don't go, it's just too much work fluttering around in wind. If it's raining outside, have you ever seen a bee with an umbrella? No, you can't. So the bees are inside. So if it's too hot, too cold, too rainy, too windy, the bees are not outside pollinating. That's when you end up with watermelons that are lopsided. You've seen them, small on one end, big on the other end. Those watermelons were not pollinated properly. So you first look at a watermelon symmetrical in shape, even from side to side. The next thing I do, I turn it over and I look right where it sat on the ground, the belly of the watermelon. A nice yellow belly is what you're looking for. That's right, yellow belly. If it's white, just put it down and find another watermelon that has a yellow belly. That's a very good sign. Turn it over and look at that stem. Check out that stem. There should be a black ring of crystallized sugar around that stem. That means when they harvested this watermelon, there's so much sugar in it that a little bit of it oozed out, the sun hits it and turns it into this black crystallized sugar. Finally, how many of you thump the watermelon? Proudly raise your hands. Very good. How many of you thump the watermelon and have no clue why you're thumping the watermelon? Yeah, I see those hands out there. So I know a lot of you are thumping the watermelon to listen for a hollow sound. Well, I have a question. What if you were deaf? If you were deaf, you would never ever be able to pick out a good watermelon. So instead of listening for a hollow sound, I want you to hold the watermelon in your other hand, thump it. If it vibrates in your bottom hand, that watermelon is solid through and through. So the next time you're thumping the watermelon, I want you to think of that wonderful Beach Boys song, Good Vibrations. You want those good vibrations, and that's exactly what you're looking for on a good watermelon. Now, early watermelons, by the way, were like 80 to 100 pounds, and I even remember those old Texas watermelons, 40-pound Texas watermelons. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if that's a watermelon, what in the world is this? The Personal Watermelon. This came out in 2003, and it was Jinping Zhang, a scientist and breeder from China, that came to the United States, actually to Northern California he came, and he worked on developing a personal-sized watermelon. I asked Jinping Zhang, what did you need to do to create this? He said, number one, I had to make it small. 5 to 7 pounds. That's as big as they get, 5 to 7 pounds. I said, why so small? He said, you have a lot of smaller families in the United States, right? You have a single mom with a child or an older couple. What are they going to do with a 25-pound watermelon? Besides, where are you going to put this in the refrigerator? So you had to make it small, 5 to 7 pounds. Number two, you had to make it seedless. Americans are lazy. We don't like seeds anymore, so you had to make it seedless. And number three, you had to make the rind as thin as the rind on a cantaloupe, which is exactly what he did. And these have become the biggest thing in melons. By the way, how do you store your watermelons? Well, it's very simple. Who wants a warm watermelon? You want your watermelon ice cold. So keep your watermelon in that refrigerator. Keep it ice cold. Hey, coming up, we are going to talk about what if I was a commencement speaker at a college graduation? What would I say? Don't go away. We'll be right back.